Hello ladies and gentlemen, Mark Sham here, founder and CEO of Suits and Sneakers. Today I have two really interesting people who I actually have a decent relationship with, but I've been handing them to come into the studio, and the timing all finally worked out. So without further ado, I'd like to officially introduce you to Ernie and Sue Marie. Hello guys.
Hey Mark, it's very nice to be here.
Thank you. You know, we really have been trying to get this done for the longest time. I'm so glad the timing finally worked out. So you have this word called naked on my screen. Do you want to just maybe explain to me what the hell you do?
So we are a insurtech company. So I always say we're a technology company that just happens to be selling insurance. So we sell car insurance, stuff for your individual things like cameras or cell phones, or your home and contents. And it's all done digitally, online, no call centers. You can literally be covered in under 3 minutes without speaking to anyone.
Yeah, now there's a bit of a false narrative there because I have absolutely every clue what you guys do, and I thought it's just always great to hear it from the horse's mouth directly. And so there's a full disclaimer here, obviously. I've had a relationship with you guys for 2 years, but there's a very specific reason we've had this relationship. And for me, when we first connected about 2 years ago, your timing was never better, because I've been shouting from the rooftops for the longest time that business simply has to be done differently. Not spoken about differently, which is what most big corporates do, done differently. And I was saying that the market, be it anything, banking, telecoms, insurance, it was ripe for disruption. And then, out of nowhere, an email lands up in my inbox about 2 years ago from you. We start this discussion, and here we are 2 years later. And so I am not only a huge fan of what you guys have been doing, I'm a client, and then we have helped each other in various different ways. But why I was so keen to have you guys here today is because for the longest time I want to show other people what I see in you, and I thought this would be like the perfect opportunity. So just for the disclaimer, I pushed for this interview, absolutely, because I just love what you guys do. Do you get this response a lot?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, insurance is not the thing that people get excited about most. Like when they sort of wake up in the morning and they think of what they're going to chat to their friends about, insurance is not the first thing. And I love that we've managed to build something where once people see what's going on here, what this thing is really about, they actually get excited about it, and dare I say, they even start loving this thing. And I think that's the cool thing about the journey that we've been on with you, is that you realize that this name Naked, which we gave this business, is not just a catchy name to try and sell insurance. It's something that like fundamentally describes what we're about, what we've done to insurance, how we've used technology and transparency and this new way of thinking to make a real difference in people's lives, but how it actually ends up being more about than just insurance. It actually ends up like being a way of thinking and a way of doing business that is just no nonsense, get to the chase, deliver good value that you can see. What you see is what you get. And then people actually start getting excited. So it's been it's been such a cool journey for us launching this business. And we're really grateful to have people like you support us.
I think journey is the right word, because when I first came across you guys and we started speaking, I kind of got the concept in like immediately. And then we started doing some cool things together, just with the events and that. But then when I would share it with my friends, I could see almost like what's the catch mentality, because that's how we're programmed. Now, I'm quite finicky about these things. Like, I don't like to put my name on many things, but when I do put my name on something, I absolutely get really behind it, because I believe that as consumers, we have the ability to change the world just by choosing where we spend our money. It really matters. If you think about, you can vote with your feet. This matters. So what I've found, and my intention is not to diss anybody else in your industry, but everybody has had a negative insurance experience. And as a customer, I can say I've had several. So then I've become a customer of yours in this time, and I've had 1 or 2 claims, but I've never spoken to you guys, because the whole point of what you guys do is through the app. And I really want to make this clear, because for me, all my interviews, all the stuff that we do is about being absolutely real. I've really enjoyed the process of having to deal with you guys, even though I've never had to deal with either of you. So do you get it a lot with people who say, like, what's the catch? Are people weary of you in the beginning? Because I think that's worthwhile discovering.
Definitely. And I don't think it's a function of us at all. I think people are very jaded when it comes to the insurance industry in general. And if you look at the press that the industry has had over the last couple of years, people carrying bodies in to prove that the person has died. I think just naturally there's this inherent distrust when you talk to people about insurance. And if we explain how we're different, I think it just sounds too good to be true. It just sounds like another story, another marketing angle. But as you know, it's not. It's something that myself, Ernie, and our other co-founder, Alex, we gave up big corporate jobs to come and do this because we believed that something needed to change in the industry. And that insurance is something that's necessary. It's helping society. If your house burned down and insurance didn't exist, the whole community would have to help rebuild that house. But somewhere along the line, something went horribly wrong. So,
that's actually a perfect segue. Because one of the things I love to explore when we do these things is not just what you do, but why you do it. So I'd love to just hear from you briefly, like, why the hell would you leave your corporate jobs to start this small startup originally to take on these behemoths in this industry?
Yeah, it's something that we talk about a lot because it's certainly been a journey. But we were in the fortunate position that all three of us sort of simultaneously arrived at a point in our minds where we said, we want to do something meaningful. Like we want to actually be able to tell our kids that we believe in what we do the whole day.
Quarter-life crisis, midlife crisis.
Let's not disclose our ages, but we wanted to do something that we actually believe in. And we don't doubt that insurance is necessary, that insurance is a great tool to serve society and to make the economy sustainable and to actually protect people. But we saw from the inside, working with legacy insurers, that the way old insurance was built, it was built for a previous era. It was built in an era where technology wasn't available to make people's lives convenient and easily accessible and save costs. And it wasn't built with that technology in mind. But also it was built in a system where a bigger sense of what is our role in the community didn't exist. And so we saw the opportunity to start something from scratch where that is not an afterthought. We're actually making a meaningful difference by having our product actually deliver and actually building up society that way. That's at the core of it. It's not an afterthought that we have to try and sort of explain, we do the right thing every now and then. And all three of us got to that point after medium to long careers of working with big insurance companies, of realizing that there's this amazing opportunity to build something from scratch. And we weren't going to get it right trying to change an old big ship, make it change course. And we were only going to get it right if we built something from scratch. And that's the beauty of how it came together, is using this new technology, but also this fresh way of thinking. Yes. For us personally, it is such a fulfilling journey to be doing this and getting people excited about insurance.
Yeah, and I guess it shows you to the point that the level has been quite bad. And again, I'm not saying that to diss other people. I'm just saying as a customer, I've had really bad experiences. So I want to regurgitate to you, maybe we can play it this way, how I understand or what I've loved about the model, and you can tell me if I got any part right or wrong, or should I say wrong. Okay, so there's three things that I love about Naked. And again, I can say this hand on heart, this matters to me. So one, I think that you guys, instead of saying that you were different, you showed you were different. You changed the model. So typically, if a premium was about $1,000, in old insurance terms, you pay your $1,000, and that's it. It all goes into one big pot. And so in a way, old insurers are incentivized not to pay out certain claims because then they have less profit. Where you guys shifted the model. You said, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to almost take a percentage. Like, let's say, if I remember correctly, it's about 20%. That's our model. If the premium is R1,000, we're going to keep 20%. That's for us. Then we're going to put 800 into a pot. Now we cannot legally touch that money once it's in the pot. And so all we're actually there to do is supervise and make sure that there are no fraudulent claims. You're not incentivized to not pay out. The second thing that I thought was incredible, this is in no particular order, you basically said if there's money left over, and there usually is, other insurance companies call that profit, and we know that because they're listed and we can see, when that money is left over in that pot, we will simply distribute that to a bunch of different charities, which the members have actually handpicked themselves. And then three, you've obviously taken on the mantle of technology. So you've looked at it and said, what would insurance look like from the beginning if we could redo it from scratch with the available technology that we have in this modern era? So it's all app-based. You've cut out call centers. You've basically made it really simple, and you found these ingenious ways of using technology which really create scale, efficiency, and abundance. One of them being my favorite, because I have a base in London, that whenever I go to London pre-COVID, I simply press this one button in the app that says pause the cover, which basically says, well, most of the risk has now been negated by the fact that your car is sitting down or sitting somewhere. You're still covered if someone drives into you or steals the car, but since you're not driving, we're going to remove, I don't know, whatever, a fair percentage of the premium, and you're going to pay half or whatever it is. I mean, don't quote me on the number. So you're using technology to do these incredible little things that are basically impossible outside. Have I messed this up?
I think we can hire him. I think
he expresses it better than we do, Ernie.
I think our marketing department can take tips there. I think that was well said.
Now, this is the thing. Why I wanted to say that is because I understand it so clear. So when I tell other people, it's interesting to see their responses. And it's clear to me that you're actually in the business of behavioral change, as much as you are in technology, etc., because people are just used to what they're used to. And then they hear you guys coming along, and there's actually no great way to tell the world, we're different, without it sounding like, oh, they're saying they're different, right?
Can I tell you about two really exciting behavioral changes, examples of what comes out of this? The one is how our incentives have been changed. So as you say, we have this thing where on the days that you're not driving, you press one button, you pause the accident portion of your cover, so it's still covered for theft or the roof falling in, but you're only paying about half your premium. So in normal circumstances, pre-COVID, that level of discount was about 50% on the days that you're not driving. Look at how incentives changed our behavior. Just as lockdown started, we realized people are going to be driving way less, and the level of risk to a car when it's paused is now actually going to be even lower than pre-COVID. So instead of giving people the 50% discount, we calculated, we estimated what's going to happen, what. We realized we could give people 90% discount. So for the 7 months of hard lockdown, our clients saved 90%.
Yes. I was literally one of them.
So, and what's nice about that, I mean, that discount subsequently has gone back to 50% now, because life is semi-normal again. So on the days that you're not driving, you save about 50%. But it was a nice example of us dynamically being able to say, we don't benefit if people are paying too much premium. Like in the end, if there's money left over, all the money will be distributed to good causes. So if we can reduce premiums, let's reduce premiums. And it's been amazing to see how just the way we run this business, the mindset that we're in is completely different to running a conventional insurance company. And the other nice thing that I really love about sort of behavioral nudges is what it's done to our clients. I mean, who would have thought that people would go on social media, like on Twitter, someone asks, oh, I don't like this insurance company or this or that or other. Who would have ever thought that people would spontaneously then start saying, oh, have you checked out Naked? Go try Naked. Here's my referral link. Go try Naked. Yeah. The level of unsolicited, amazing good news that we get, and that we see people just sharing good news stories. And what's nice about that is they are helping grow this tribe. Like it's not just about insurance anymore. Yeah. It's our clients buying into this vision of there's a better way, there's this new thing, and let's get as many good people to join as possible.
Yeah, you see, this is why I was so keen to have you guys here, because as I mentioned originally, as a speaker, I had been calling that this would happen. And I'd seen some examples overseas in all these sectors where what big corporates have done in some instances is they've built moats around their services and products. So it's very hard to get out of them. Like you're not necessarily with some of the banks because you love them. It's just you need a bank account and you pick the least worst, right? But that's not what endears you to a company. And I've been saying, like, for as long as there's no other option, people will stick around because they have no choice. But when that option exists, people will move and move quickly. Now, I slightly underestimated the behavioral change that needs to happen, that people can be quite apathetic. Yes. In that even when there is a better option, they'll just stick with what they know because they know it. But then to your point, watching the journey over the last 2 years, of which I'm one of them, because I don't make any money by telling people, hey guys, you got to check out Naked. But it blows my brain that people haven't yet. But I have seen those cogs start to shift because I believe that marketing is no longer about what you say, but about what you do. And so now you guys are building up this incredible track record for me that's starting to make people go, well, it's not just that those billboards are quite funky, and they are, it's that, but they are doing it. Like, I've been with them for 2 years and I've loved it, and I think that's getting out. So I would love to get some behind the scenes views of what's currently happening in your world that people should know about that you don't always typically get out, and what should we know about what's coming in the future that gets us really excited about your brand.
Well, I think one of the things Ernie alluded to, and I just want to link that, is we are still getting most of our sales through referrals. It's like people, and not through marketing or not through Facebook advertising or anything like that. So it's very important for us not to fall into that trap, because one of our key goals is actually also to bring this product to market as cheaply as possible. And that also speaks not just to the technology, but it also actually speaks to how we get that message out there. Because most people are not aware, but insurers are one of the biggest spenders on advertising out there. They're bigger than any of the retail stores. They spend billions on...
I think if you turn on the radio, you are aware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we just...
Unfortunately aware.
Unfortunately, yeah, and it's invasion of privacy, etc. So one of the things that's really important to us is that we get the word out there without doing too much of that, and that's really, really important to us. I just wanted to make that comment so that we can actually bring product to the individual as cheaply as possible. And the nudges are also key to that. I don't know, and if you want to talk a bit about what's coming or some of the new things.
So we started with car insurance, and one of the big sort of chapter 2s for us was being able to expand the product into household and home insurance. And then we also added this feature where you can buy cover for if you only want to cover a laptop. You don't want to buy contents cover, you only want to cover a laptop or a cell phone. So we're really excited that has done really well for us on our app. We've subsequently now launched it on our website as well, so people can actually access it without even actually downloading the app. And I think the very exciting thing for us in terms of the story and the next chapter is the fact that we've now recently made this first payment of our what we call our Naked Difference program. So that's the actual once a year we do the maths, we see there's the surplus money that's left over. Claims were maybe lower than we'd expected. COVID had a bigger impact than we'd anticipated. There were fewer hailstorms, etc., and there's this money left over. And then we give each one of our clients one vote. They vote on the app for the cause which they like the most, be it a charity that looks after dogs, or be it an abandoned babies cause, or be it someone that plants trees or whatever. Each one of our clients gets a vote, and we've just in the last week or two started making those payments. And that's been a really big milestone for us.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see how that pays off, because I think up until now, for people, it has been, we haven't delivered on that promise yet, right? So that whole skepticism that you spoke about. And when we spoke about the nudges is not just for us to do the right thing, but it's also the nudges is for people to do the right thing. Yes. So everyone seemed to be okay with the fact of overclaiming because of the fact that they hate their insurer so much. Now with us, if you are overstating whatever you say, you said you had a 3-year-old TV that was only 15 centimeters, but you actually then say, no, I had one that was ginormous on the wall. People seem okay with that. But now, if you do that, when you claim from Naked, it is actually going to be not taking money away from the evil insurer, it is actually taking money away from someone you care about. Yeah. And what we're hoping to do with that is to reduce soft fraud, so again, we can meet our goal of bringing product to market cheaper, because that's one of our big goals. Insurance is needed, let's get more people covered.
Yes, I absolutely love that. And you guys did something for me that really meant the world to me, and I want to thank you for it, because in 2018, 2019, and some of this year, I've been really pushing behind an organization called Crystal House, which landed up getting added to the app, and I landed up voting for them, just in case they know, I really did vote for you. And Crystal House is a school in Cape Town that basically educates the poorest of the poor kids in Cape Town at no cost. And not only do they do it at no cost, but their results in terms of where the kids come out and what they do is incredible. And so, it's funny, because I think what's going to happen over time for you guys is, as you keep creating these touch points for different audiences with different things. It might be product, that it might be the 90% off. That is a touch point for some people. And I know that must have been, although I think you did the right thing there, I think that was also a world-class marketing idea. And I think that we can look at marketing in that way as sustainable. It's doing something that's great, that is getting the word out there, but that everybody wins. I don't think we should see that as bad for calling that marketing. It's sustainable, long-term marketing, and I think that that's what you guys did brilliantly. So as you create these different touch points, for me, I think what's coming in the next 3 to 5 years is a huge behavioral shift, where we then start to look at what you guys do as absolutely normal, and what everybody else does is it's madness. Do you know, like, and I think much like the effect that an Elon Musk has had on the automotive industry, where he literally fast-forwarded people's, or the automotive industry's innovation and disruption. And now they started taking, I think that's what's going to happen with you guys. So, you know, I could have you guys on here for days on end, and I think we should do a part 2 and a part 3. But really, I just wanted to say from me to you guys, like, I really am so excited about you guys as a brand, outside of the things I mentioned earlier, because again, in a place like South Africa where we have so much going on, it's nice to watch individuals or companies take responsibility and march us forward to a conscious form of capitalism, if that, you know, if it can be said that way. I think it's so easy to wait for someone else to do it. And I think in your field and in your industry, you will do well. And the irony to me is that I think in the future, you guys will be disgustingly wealthy because you will have solved a huge problem for a large group of people. That's what value creation is. So I just want to give you kudos, really.
What do you think, Mark, on that? I think all stakeholders should come away with something, and that's important.
Absolutely.
It always should be.
Well, you've built that in your model,
Exactly.
effectively.
Exactly.
If you look at the best companies in the world, it's quite a funny thing that the ones who make the most money also derive less value than they create. Which is a hard thing for people to get their heads around, like Amazon or Apple being so rich. And yet, if you look at the amount of money that they're worth and that they have, it's still on the back that they derive more value for a market than they actually take back. That's why it's the irony to me. So I think that that's what's going to happen. So guys, really, I can't say thank you enough. I hope that the audience, whoever's watching this, they really get to see it and go check out the website, all of these things. If you want, you can look at your close-up or you can talk to me. It doesn't really matter. I'd love to give you the closing floor, maybe a parting message that you want the audience to know, that they should remember, and then how the hell do we get hold of you?
Yeah, I think, Mark, for me to close is to say that it's understandable that people's default reaction often when people talk about sustainable business or a new responsible way of doing business or doing business in a way that sincerely impacts the community, it's understandable that most of us sort of roll our eyes initially.
Yes.
And I just want to say that that narrative has been around for a long time, but it's exciting to see that now it's starting to materialize. And I mean, I want to give kudos to you, to your work with Suits and Sneakers, and more broadly, just around, like, not just talking the game, but actually trying to make a difference. Like, actually sincerely getting into communities, trying to reach schools and young people and all sorts of amazing things. Like, doing something and having action is way more important than words. And I really, I mean, the journey that we've been on with you, I've valued that so much. And what I want to conclude with in terms of what our mission as an organization is to sincerely have an impact in the community. Now, the main way we can do that is to deliver insurance that works, like drive down prices, use technology, drive down prices, and pay claims in amazing quick time. That's the best way I can do that. But we can also do that by, over time, gradually demonstrating, not saying, but demonstrating how we uplift communities. And like, that gets me excited about, that's the way to build a sustainable society.
Because it really is possible. It really is possible to make a lot of money and make a difference within the community. It just blows my brain that more companies and businesses and people don't see that. Guys, thank you so much for being here. My parting thought to you is, do me a favor, if for nothing else, go check out these guys. I believe their website, www.naked.insure. There's an app that you can go download. Is that right? I do sound like your salesman. But I want to encourage you from one consumer to the other. If you want to actually make your life easier, just go check them out. Go get the quote. Go do it. I'm not saying this for my health. I'm saying that I think that you're actually doing a disservice to your own end by not at least going and checking out what these guys do. I'm a client. My windscreen cracked the other day. I went through the app. Boom. 2 days later, it was sorted. And it only took 2 days because I dragged my feet. And that's it. I think you have the opportunity of a lifetime to change the world by changing where you spend your money and vote with your feet. That's the message I want to leave with you. Thank you for watching this. Guys, thank you so much for coming through. And that's a wrap.
Cool.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks. Ooh.